next up will get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Who that?
Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist recommended vitamin and supplement brand.
What up, faggot? You can't suck my dick. That's my girl's job. You go stare at some other black man. Fucking homo. I ain't got shit but motherfucking hate for you. I don't know if you a nigga or a spick. Or a fucking cracker. What I do know is you're a fucking weirdo. And a faggot. Ruger, that you? Steven, that you? Chaz, that's you? One spick, one nigga, one cracker. I might have struck out. You might be somebody else. You're still a fucking weirdo. If you're a female, you're a dumb bitch. If you're a dude, you're a dumb bitch. not your friend, not cool with you. I don't give a fuck if we once were. Go kill yourself. Maybe I'll hear about it. Or go live life and stop worrying about me. You and that other faggot sitting there. And I'm pretty sure you jumped up and sprung. Oh, you said my name. Yeah, you, Steven. You fat fucking slob. Go drive your truck for 7 hours, remaining unemployed on welfare. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Ruger. You found a bitch yet? Or you still running around worrying about anybody else?
You guys remember
You replaced your female yet?
Lane Hartzell came as a Hershey's taste tester. Well, I told Hershey about that, seeing the way that Hershey's...
You get any pussy as of lately, or you still worried about niggas' dick size? Chaz. Any of your fucking cats die, bro? Go find their replacements, man. Go find some more cats or something to die with. Because as soon as you die, they're gonna eat your body. They're gonna eat your brain. They're gonna eat your remains right in that little fucking stink-ass Canadian apartment you in. As soon as you die. They'll put up rest in peace Chaz Devlin signs everywhere and shit. Ate by his cat. Just guessing. Shooting him out in the dark. I know I'm amazing. Terrific, wonderful, phenomenal, grand. But I ain't for you, man. Get the fuck out of here. Go die. Gee, is that all it took? Thank you. Fucking sick. Well, I seem to bring about some results. Cool. Now, where's my people? Hey Google, shut up.
And you know what I'm saying? Or what I learned. And and she was just cut down in the prime of her life, and it's so unfair. And
Mary J. Blige has exposed some dark secrets about Aaliyah's death that were previously unknown to the media, and it seems like the circumstances surrounding her death were much more sinister than we've been made to believe. In a recently resurfaced interview, Mary J. Blige called Aaliyah's death a spiritual murder, hinting that she was sacrificed by the industry. Meanwhile, rumors have surfaced that Jay-Z was in love with Aaliyah and tried to make her his queen, but when she refused, he decided to replace her with Beyonce in every sense of the word, which allegedly includes orchestrating an accident that took her out. People also believe Diddy played a part in this and helped cover it up. Several industry insiders have publicly denounced the story that Aaliyah's death was an accident, claiming there were much darker forces at play. But who were these darker forces? Were they the people behind what Mary J. Blige called Aaliyah's spiritual murder? What did they have to gain by taking out someone as beautiful and talented as Aaliyah? Let's find out.
I knew that I would do it and that I could do it. And I honestly believe that no matter what anybody said. And I continued. I said, fine, you don't want me, somebody else will. And I will prove it. I will get out there and I will be a star. And I really meant it. And you have to have that frame of mind. You have to have the kind of confidence to make it in this industry or you won't make it. So
Shut the fuck up and
I
quit
did
being
it.
a weirdo.
And I'm very proud of the fact that I
Dumbass. That's what you should do, maybe. Maybe. Dude, stop acting like a bitch. That's not even maybe, like that's like off the back. You should just do that. Stop acting like a bitch. A dude wants to be Taylor Swift. You're a fucking weirdo.
Important music icons of her generation. She had already marked her place as the princess of R&B and was one of the most commercially successful female artists of the late 90s. But her wave of success came crashing down when, according to official reports, her plane crashed en route to Florida after filming a music video in the Bahamas. The official story seemed tragic enough, but
Now hold up, not to be forgotten. You need some attention. Let me address you. I got you. One tall glass of shut the fuck up. Coming right up. Hi. Bye. The fuck out of here. Let me go to your channel before I give you a tall glass of shut the fuck up. Let's see. Alright. Some little fugly black who likes Taylor Swift. Okay. Alright. Nothing against any of that. I happen to have one of her songs too, but we don't fuck with trolls, so we don't fuck with you.
Nothing against any of that. I happen to have one of her songs too, but we don't fuck with trolls, so we don't fuck with you.
Are you single? Why, are you looking for someone to be paired with? I got you. I'm gonna hook you up with this tall glass of shut the fuck up. Y'all can have a decent relationship. Here you go. Enjoy each other's company. And you can thank me for it. You can thank me for that. Back to what I was doing though. Where the fuck? There we go.
That's what I want for right now.
I just know that that was a murder. You know what I'm saying? I'm just seriously murder, whether people know what or not. Because God don't kill people. You know what I'm saying? Whether people know what or not. I could go deep, but a lot of people I would have to really bring proof. You know what I'm saying? or what I learned. And she just was cut down in the prime of her life. And it's so unfair.
And by the looks of things,
Mary J. Blige has exposed some dark secrets about Aaliyah's death that were previously unknown to the.
side note, by the looks of things, for what I saw, you don't need to be trying to work on people's nerves. You need to hit the gym and go work out. Look like a whole fucking slob. Go do some push-ups and shit. Don't push the keys. Don't push up on people's channels. Go exercise. Exercise that fucking, all that pudginess, that excess weight on your face. Exercise it off. Yeah. All right.
But who were these darker forces? Were they the people behind what Mary J. Blige called Aaliyah's spiritual murder? What did they have to gain by taking out someone as beautiful and talented as Aaliyah? Let's find out.
Adamant that I would do it and that I could do it. And I honestly believe that no matter what anybody said. And I continued. I said, fine, you don't want me, somebody else will. And I will prove it. I will get out there and I will be a star. And I really meant it. And you have to have that frame of mind. You have to have that kind of confidence to make it in this industry or you won't make it. So I did it. And I'm very proud of the fact that I did.
Before she died, Aaliyah was on her way to becoming one of the most important music icons of her generation. She had already marked her place as the princess of R&B and was one of the most commercially successful female artists of the late 90s. But her wave of success came crashing down when, according to official reports, her plane crashed en route to Florida after filming a music video in the Bahamas. The official story seemed tragic enough, but fans did not buy it for 1 second. People believed that Aaliyah was murdered and the plane crash story was just a cover-up because a closer look at the events leading up to the crash reveals some sinister details that don't add up. A quick trip down memory lane will help us understand why Aaliyah fans believe Aaliyah was targeted. From the moment Aaliyah rose to stardom at the tender age of 15 with the release of her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, it seems there have always been vultures circling her, waiting for the right time to swoop down. One of those vultures was R. Kelly, whom she met when she signed with Blackground Records, her uncle Barry Hankerson's record label. R. Kelly quickly became Aaliyah's mentor and colleague and even helped her produce her Age Ain't Nothing But a Number album. But it didn't stop there. He took their relationship a step further by secretly marrying her when she was 15 and he was 27. But her parents found out about the marriage, whose license listed Aaliyah's age as 18, and annulled it. Now, to any parent, a 27-year-old man preying on your baby girl might make you so mad that you at least try to get authorities involved. Not Aaliyah's parents, though. They allegedly accepted payment in rights to R. Kelly's first 3 albums in exchange for not pressing charges against him. So it seems Aaliyah's parents basically sold her to R. Kelly. But what about her uncle, Barry Hankerson? Surely he had to have been responsible for Aaliyah's safety since she was a minor, his niece, and his signee, right? Well, wrong. Barry Hankerson is not precisely the best person to be around. His ex-wife, Gladys Knight, described him as an evil man who tried to make their custody battle as difficult as possible after their divorce. Barry has also been described as a control freak who never let artists under him have the rights to their music. For example, singer JoJo once came out to describe her horrific experiences with Blackground Records, where they put her on a strict 500-calorie diet to keep her skinny, didn't allow her to have the rights to her music, and even pushed her to alcohol and substance abuse. Toni Braxton also sued Barry for $10 million, claiming he always put his financial interests ahead of hers. So, he's just an all-around shady guy. 4 days before Aaliyah went to the Bahamas, Barry allegedly went to court and took out some sort of indemnity protection that stated that if either Aaliyah or any of the crew members had an accident during the trip to the Bahamas, his company would not be responsible for it. Even if nothing had happened on that trip, trying to protect himself from responsibility responsibility for any unforeseen accidents involving his signee and niece is a suspicious move. But the fact that Aaliyah got involved in a tragic accident that took her life shows that Barry likely knew something was going to go down on that trip, and he either didn't want it to be traced back to him or he didn't want to be involved in it. Either way, it is too much of a coincidence to ignore, especially because Barry and his Blackground label have benefited from Aaliyah's death. Barry was allegedly paid $90 million after Aaliyah passed away. However, that did not stop Blackground Records from withholding Aaliyah's music for over 2 decades after her death and refusing to release it to her estate. Aaliyah's estate lawyers had to engage in a bitter 20-year battle with Blackground Records to get them to release her music to streaming platforms. I mean, how selfish do you have to be to hold on to the rights to Aaliyah's music decades after her death without even trying to honor her memory? When she was alive, the one thing she always wanted to remembered as an entertainer. So, the least Barry would have done was make that possible. But no, it took dragging him to court for him to finally do the right thing. In summary, it seems like the adults in Aaliyah's life, from her parents to her uncle to her so-called mentor, failed to protect her and even groomed her and exposed her to abuse. This explains why Barry Hankerson was reportedly saying it was best to leave Aaliyah's death to God rather than investigate it. With everything he had already done to her, who knows what an investigation might have turned up. Now let's talk about the events leading up to Aaliyah's death. In this interview from August 21st, 2001, Aaliyah spoke about how she was set to start filming the video for her track, Rock the Boat, the following day, under the direction of Hype Williams, who had previously worked with Jay-Z and R. Kelly. On D-Day, August 22nd, Aaliyah was set in Miami, preparing to start filming. All important crew members were available, and a green screen had already been set up for filming all the underwater scenes and dance sequences. Out of nowhere, Hype Williams decided to move the filming to the Bahamas. This seemed strange because everything they needed to film the video successfully was already available in Miami, and Hype did not explain his sudden decision. Also, whenever Aaliyah was on set, her mother, father, or brother was usually present so that nobody could take advantage of her. But for this Bahamas trip, only Aaliyah and her crew, including hair, makeup, and security, could make the trip. On August 23rd, Aaliyah and her crew traveled to the Bahamas and wrapped up filming by August 25th, so they decided to return that day. Sources revealed that there was no arrangement for transportation, and even when Lenny Kravitz sent a plane for Aaliyah to use, Hype Williams took it away. This was very suspicious because Hypey hadn't made any arrangements, so why would he take away free transportation? Anyway, Aaliyah and her crew eventually got a twin-engine Cessna 402 for the trip. Now, the thing is, that type of aircraft is meant for carrying cargo, not passengers. And the pilot, Luis Morales, knew that the plane was not meant for carrying passengers. The charter pilot, Louis Key, would later reveal that he heard Morales and the rest of the crew arguing about whether or not they should get on the plane because between the crew members and all their baggage, there would be too much weight on the plane for a safe flight. Also, the plane was much smaller than the one they had arrived with. It would also turn out that the pilot, Morales, was a crook with a criminal record whose license had been suspended. He had forged the paperwork that got him the job, and toxicology reports noted high levels of cocaine in his system. The flight was simply a disaster waiting to happen. Investigation later revealed that Aaliyah didn't want to get on that plane. She reportedly complained about having a headache before the plane's arrival. Aaliyah's ex, Dame Dash, would later explain that he had told Aaliyah not to go on that trip because she was afraid of flying. So it wasn't a surprise she felt ill before the flight. Allegedly, when she complained of the headache, one of the crew members gave her a sleeping pill that knocked her out, and she had not woken up by the time the plane arrived. So they basically had to carry her inside the plane while she was unconscious. They knew she wouldn't have gotten on that flight if she had been awake and knew all the problems. But they put her on it, and barely 1 minute into the flight, the plane crashed and caught fire about 200 feet from the runway, killing Aaliyah and the 8 other passengers. If this account account of events is true, then so many people should have been held responsible for the plane crash. For example, why did Hype not allow her to use Lenny Kravitz's bigger plane? Why did Barry Hankerson not ensure Aaliyah would be well protected during the trip? Why didn't they let her family members go with her? Putting two and two together, it seems like several people plotted to make sure Aaliyah got on that plane that was doomed even before it took off. Could one of these people be Jay-Z? There have been rumors that Aaliyah was an industry sacrifice. Some people believe that as Aaliyah rose to stardom, she became seen as a valuable asset to the powers that be in Hollywood, who made it Jay-Z's duty to bring her into the fold. This seems like a stretch, or at worst, a bunch of conspiracies. But the coincidences are just too much to ignore. Industry insiders like Jaguar Wright believe Jay had a lot to gain from Aaliyah's death, so he might have been part of the people who allegedly orchestrated it. According to Jaguar Wright, Jay was in love with Aaliyah, and he wanted to make her his queen. But when she chose Dame Dash over him, he got mad and allegedly decided to throw Dame under the bus. Speaking of which, Jay-Z is also one of the industry men who allegedly groomed Aaliyah. They were spotted in various industry events together, and you have to remember that Aaliyah was barely an adult through all this. And it is unsurprising Jay-Z went after her, because even Beyonce, whom he later married, is younger than him by 15 years. Jay-Z denied dating Aaliyah, but according to Dame, it wasn't for lack of trying. Dame believed the only reason why Jay couldn't get with Aaliyah was that Aaliyah was the kind of girl who knew how to friend zone guys while maintaining a platonic relationship with them. I mean, given all the predators surrounding her, no wonder she had to develop a skill like that. Jaguar also said that Beyonce's solo career only took off after Aaliyah died. She pointed out that it was weird that when Aaliyah died, Jay-Z poached Amory's producer, Rish Harrison, because Amory was another female artist, giving Beyonce a run for her money. Just like that, Beyonce found herself ahead of her peers. Interestingly, Beyonce and Jay-Z would later have their music video for Drunken Love, directed by Hype Williams. The same guy sent Aaliyah to the Bahamas without adequate protection. Also, the opening scene of the video shows Beyonce carrying a trophy with a female figure, which fans have interpreted to mean Beyonce celebrating her triumph over her competitors. Sources have also noted that Aaliyah and Beyonce used to be friends. In 2001, Beyonce interviewed Aaliyah at the 2001 MTV Movie Awards, looking starstruck. They were friends, and Beyonce looked up to Aaliyah in many ways. But less than a year later, Aaliyah was gone, and Beyonce started to take her place. Before Aaliyah passed away, she was a model, singer, dancer, and actress. Everything Beyonce was or wanted to be. She was also very kind, beautiful, and an all-round lovely person to be around. One of those people that are almost too good to be true. In an interview she did in Paris just weeks before she died, Aaliyah shared a recurring dream she had been having. It's dark in my favorite dream. Someone is after me. I don't know why. I get fear. Then suddenly I lift off. I fly away, far away. How do I feel now? It is like swimming in the air, free and without any weight. No one can reach me. No one can touch me. It is a wonderful feeling. It seems as though Aaliyah was foreshadowing her death, like she knew something was going to happen to her soon. Some of the projects she worked on before she passed away had clues that hinted at the turmoil in her personal life. In her track, Never No More, some lines said, "I thought I lost you. When you twist back my arm, 'cause the man I thought I knew wouldn't do me no harm, I promised myself you wouldn't put your hands on me again." She was only 21 when she released this track, and there was no reason why a 21-year-old should be referencing an abusive relationship. Another clue is Queen of the Damned, a movie she repeatedly talked about how much she enjoyed working on, which heavily mirrored how evil and abusive the music industry can be. Then, there was the fact that Aaliyah was recording a song called Time before she passed away, where she talked about not having enough time to do everything she wanted to do. Unfortunately, she died before she finished recording that song. These all seem to point to the fact that Aaliyah knew something sinister was happening behind the scenes, and that some people were after her life. Could these people have been Jay-Z and his associates who wanted Aaliyah gone so they could replace her with Beyonce? Well, check this out. In his song Glory, Jay-Z talked about his wife, Beyonce, and how childbirth and a previous miscarriage were hard on her, but she shined through. He also gushed about his newborn daughter, Blue Ivy, calling her his greatest creation. It's all nice and cute until you listen to the end of the song, where Jay-Z attempts to warn his daughter to be careful by referencing Aaliyah's death. The lines go, "Just make sure the plane you on is bigger than your carry-on baggage." Blue Ivy was born just 10 days before the Glory track was released. So, although it seems like just a father fearing for his child's safety, we have to admit that warning your infant daughter about dying tragically in a plane crash is a bit weird. There were 1,001 other options available for Jay-Z to use in warning his daughter about the dangers of living the fast life. Why did he choose to use an example involving a young woman who died tragically? Because everyone around her sat back and let her get on a plane that was a disaster waiting to happen. It is not adding up. Things got even crazier when an interview with Mary J. Blige resurfaced, where she referred to Aaliyah's death as a spiritual murder, claiming she shouldn't have gone that way when she was in the prime of her life. Mary believed that it was not Aaliyah's time to go, and people cut her down on purpose. This is, however, not the only time Mary has expressed her suspicions about how Aaliyah died. In 2006, Mary appeared on a now-deleted episode of The Oprah Winfrey Show, where she talked about Aaliyah's accident. She said, "My life was her life. She was surrounded by people who weren't telling her the real deal. We weren't close friends, but I'd talked with her a couple of times. I very well could have been the woman on that plane." But Mary never did say what she meant by calling Aaliyah's death a spiritual murder, and we may never know why she said that. However, many people believe that the industry sacrificed Aaliyah, and that if there is ever a reinvestigation into her death, the people who most benefited from it should be looked at, like Jay-Z and Beyonce. People believe the only reason why Beyonce made it to the top is Aaliyah's death. One person said, "I love Beyonce, but if we're being completely honest, the only reason why she reached this level as a solo artist is because Aaliyah was killed." Was Aaliyah passed around the music, rap industry, then killed to silence her for not wanting to participate in the rituals anymore? Name the names. Jay-Z has a hand in killing Aaliyah and made Beyonce into what Aaliyah would have been, and you can't change my mind. Now, whether Beyonce was in on it or she was entirely in the dark, we'll never know, but it is certainly something to think about. And that's it for today. See you in the next video.
Star Report. I'm your host, Star. Welcome to the show. Folks, it is Monday evening, and we're having a discussion about a topic that is not trending. A video that a few of you sent me, and it's on World Star. Woman got mad at her date for refusing to buy her groceries. Only dating for a couple of days, according to the video. $472. $472. Let me repeat that. Now, gone are the days where, you know, if you marry the cow, you marry the calf. It's that old shit, you know, 60s, 70s, 80s. Now, are you getting a special woman? Is she unique? Why would you pay for a child that's not yours? According to you guys. And I feel different. I've changed my way of thinking. I have updated things, so to speak. And I don't want to just jump out the window and steer the conversation, but I don't think that you should pay for groceries. I personally like to date women now who have older kids, old ass kids. You know, if something's wrong with
We'll talk a few years down the line and we'll see where my head is at then, but that's what I want for right now.
I just know that that was a murder. You know what I'm saying? I'm just curious to murder whether people know it or not. Because God don't kill me. You know what I'm saying? Whether people know it or not. I could go deep, but a lot of people I would have to really bring proof. You know what I'm saying? For what I learned. And she was just cut down in the prime of her life. And it's so unfair.
Here's one thing you need to do before buying anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch this first. Watch this. I can show you how to get the sweetest deals online when you shop from major retailers like Amazon and Target. You can drop prices automatically. I can show you how, but I can't do it.
Before their deadly falling out, Tupac and Biggie were close friends. But everything changed when Biggie's wife, Faith Evans, got involved with Tupac.
And you said that you went to Pac's hotel room.
When Faith got pregnant, Biggie accused her of carrying Tupac's baby, and the media ran with it.
I was a little scared. He was so angry and grabbing on me, like he was enraged.
Everyone blamed Faith for escalating the war between the two men.
Why was I the poster child for the people?
Nobody knows what really happened between Faith and Tupac, except the one woman who survived.
I didn't really know what I was walking into.
What do you want to say about your relationship or lack thereof with Tupac Shakur?
Well, while I was in Los Angeles, that was when I met Tupac. Tupac told me he was a big fan and that he'd heard my music and that he would love to do a record with me one day. Big had always spoken very highly of Tupac. He really considered him like his homeboy. We get to the studio and the song was called Wonder Why They Call You Bitch. And it was just all such a very weird moment for me to be in this place and kind of almost realizing that I don't think I was supposed to be here. It was evident that Tupac knew what he was doing. Someone took a picture of them. It looks like they were sexually together. I just knew I needed to get back home, talk to Big, and try to explain to him what really happened. When he finally came to talk to me, he was so angry that I barely got to say much of anything other than, no, that's not true. Like, you know, I wouldn't do that.
Big on a heart-to-heart believes her, but then at the same time, he's got all these people in his ear saying, yo, like, how you gonna let her play you like that?
When I decided to be his wife, I wanted to be married to him in a happily committed and trustworthy relationship.
Their love story started during a photo shoot for Bad Boy Records, where Faith was the only female artist signed.
I was sitting at the lunch table having a break, and I think I was looking at some photographs, and he asked, could he see my pictures?
Things like, is that your daughter? And I'm like, yes. And then he's like, oh, I have a daughter too. So he would kind of come and make conversation or stand over me and ask, who is that? Like, I'm like, look at that, like, you know, as if he knew me already.
Something about him was very warm and cozy, that type of guy, just very warm and caring and physical.
He'd never met anyone like Faith, and he knew that from the second that he met her, that he was in love with her.
From the moment he laid eyes on her, he was like, that's my wife. I think we both just knew we had very strong feelings and attractions that seemed a little strange because it was so soon, but it felt right.
He said, you know, we should just get married.
Y'all are married right now. Oh yeah, no question. What's wrong with it? What do y'all think it represents a lot of young people out there? Unity.
They moved into an apartment in Brooklyn and started their new life together.
I felt comfortable enough to move China over there. He was always just very playful with China. I do know that at some point she likened Big to her dad. That was the feeling that, you know, he gave her, I guess.
But after only a few months, Faith and Biggie's relationship started to change when Biggie's career took off.
Big started being on the road a whole lot more. I mean, and I was on the road as well. You know, by this time my record was out, my career was going pretty well. But he started spending a lot more time away from our apartment. And, you know, he would be in hotels in the city, you know, and it was kind of like, it just didn't feel right. Big went on the road with the Junior Mafia and Little Kim. My first impression of Kim was she was cool. I really thought she was cool. She was fun. Big kind of encouraged me to befriend her, you know. It was like, okay, that's his artist. I didn't have a problem with that at all. He used to be like, oh, take Kim to the gym or take Kim shopping with you or, you know, whatever. I remember even a time when Big was staying at a hotel and Kim was there.
But I didn't think anything of it. I remember her going on the radio saying like something about me and Big and there's no rings. And it was just weird to me why she would be speaking on me and our marriage. Kim was talking about Big in a way that could have been construed as a romantic relationship.
Only me and him could always know what that relationship was like.
It was enough to tell something was going on. I don't know, something just told me to go to his townhouse in Teaneck. It was all dark. And I just started touching around, like, you know, and I felt somebody right there. And he turns on the light, and it was little Kim. I just started hitting. And then she left. When I left a couple hours later, I had a Land Cruiser, and it was like scratched from like every single inch of the surface of the car was scratched up. Like she got busy. Oh my God.
Attention bargain hunters. Don't miss out. Here's a free backpack. Take it. It's yours. We're doing an experiment for today only, to see if anyone actually watches these ads or reads the caption that says free. Most hover their finger over the skip ad button until it hits the 5-second mark. So we want to...
Faith was really hurt because she saw Kim as her little sister.
And I just kind of felt like really stupid because I'm like, wait, all this time I've been, you know, like, really? And you told me to be around her? So I just was very like, I don't think we're going to be together anymore. No, Big was just younger. He was just slipping up at times, you know, just getting caught up and just, you know, doing stupid. And it messed up their marriage. I was very humiliated and hurt. But what I'm not going to do is let my feelings right now affect the fact that I have to have stability for my daughter. I still got my own thing over here. China actually gave me a motivation to figure something out.
Faith called me telling me that she had to move and that she was going to leave Big. And I'm like, where are you going to move to, Faith? Where are you and China going to move? She was like, I don't know. I just have to get out of this apartment.
I just laughed. I was kind of done.
When her and Big started separating, she felt strange being around any bad boy family events.
I was working, but not as much. You know, I think, and that may have been even on purpose. I was kind of ducking him.
Faith wanted independence from Bad Boy Records and Biggie and started looking for work outside of it.
While I was in Los Angeles, I was working on a new project with these girls, and one night we decided to go out to a club, and that was when I met Tupac at Hollywood Athletic Club. Big had always spoken very highly of Tupac. He really considered him like his homeboy.
But Faith was unaware that Tupac held ill feelings towards Biggie for the Quad Studio incident.
When Tupac came out to Quad Studios, there were guys waiting for him.
Upstairs, Biggie, and all these guys were there.
He ended up getting shot.
Rap artist Tupac Shakur was apparently attacked in a New York City recording studio.
Right when it happened, Big called me. Scared sounding to me, to be quite honest. So he told me he was going to go to Bellevue and make sure he was okay.
From Tupac's perspective, he said nobody would look him in the eye, and that the people that were upstairs must have known that he was going to be ambushed and robbed.
Big, there wasn't no drama. Big didn't dislike Tupac. He just felt like, okay, like, dude, like, you bugging out.
Before the shooting, they were very friendly and brotherly.
Peace and love.
So when Tupac met Faith, he saw a chance to get back at Biggie through her.
They came and they were like, hey, Faith, how you doing? Yo, Tupac wants to meet you. You know, no big deal. I didn't feel like I should meet him. The photographer wanted to snap pictures. Hey, you guys take a picture. You know, I want to get a picture of you guys.
Tupac told me he was a big fan and that he'd heard my music and that he would love to do a record with me one day. You know, I was like, oh, okay, that's really dope. Let me know. So we exchanged information.
Faith wanted to provide for her daughter and wasn't thinking about anything else.
Tupac and I negotiated me getting $25,000 for writing and singing the hook. And at that time, I needed the $25K. When I called Big to tell him that Pop asked me to be on his record, he didn't tell me not to do it either. As long as the money was straight and the business was straight, then it didn't seem like something I shouldn't do. We get to the studio, and I basically think I'm just coming to do a hook, which usually doesn't take me very long. And I went in the booth, and the song was called Wonder Why They Call You B****. And it was just all such a very weird moment for me to be in this place to sing this particular song and kind of
did the song, did the session for a couple of hours. It wasn't that long, and that was it.
He told me that his manager was gonna bring the check to his room. We could drive to the hotel. I can go. We can go get it. Especially in this situation, I'm like, I definitely gotta get my money. When we get into his room and his friends, they all, kicking it and having drinks and smoking. And, I just kind of felt it becoming a little menacing in a way. And then he said that I needed to suck his to get my money. And I was shocked. I was a little scared. But, I think I kind of started crying a little bit, like, being somewhat humiliated that he would even think that that's how it is. And I never got my money. I ended up leaving.
They already had a plan to win by any means. Since the art of war, she was caught in the middle, crossfire.
In his song Hit Them Up, Tupac mocks Biggie and claims that he slept with his wife.
The media was writing all about it.
What situation? What's wrong with Tupac? The LA situation. What's going on?
Why was I the poster child for the beef? Like, what is really going on? I just knew I needed to get back home, talk to Big, and try to explain to him what really happened.
I mean, we were going through problems, but he was still my husband. I remember him being really angry to the point where he came in my hotel and I locked him out of the door because I didn't know what he was going to do. He was so mad. He was just screaming like, what? Why is he doing this?
I barely got to say much of anything other than, no, that's not true. Like, I wouldn't do that. That's not true. That was pretty much all I could do was keep repeating that.
While the media claimed that Tupac had stolen Faith, Biggie took out his anger on her.
She was supposed to perform, and he grabbed up crazy. He grabbed up in a chokehold, bro. I think it's because of the rumors about her and Pop.
Biggie was torn, but he couldn't let go of Faith yet.
When he called me to come see him in New Orleans, he just kind of appealed to me as if he really wanted to see me. He really wanted to spend some time with me. And, I went down there. I know for a fact that's when I got pregnant. When I told Big that I found that I was pregnant, he sounded surprised, like, you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm sure.
When Biggie's song Brooklyn's Finest came out, media rumors started to spiral that Faith was pregnant with Tupac's baby.
Biggie's song lyric says that if Faith is having twins, she is having Tupac's.
Very, very shocked. Hurt. I didn't even speak to him. I was so mad at him.
The media claimed that East Coast and West Coast were fighting because of Faith.
There were a lot of people just saying, if you're from the East Coast, don't come out here. Just straight up threats.
The atmosphere was becoming more and more charged and dangerous. The streets were shaking. There was some war going on.
It felt like, somebody is going to get hurt. I think I was in my apartment in Manhattan when Big called me to tell me that Tupac was killed. Naturally, I started to fear for Big's safety. People sometimes go to certain extremes for things that they stand for, which they don't even know the truth about sometimes. And I just did not want that to ever affect the people that I love. Big and I didn't talk as much, He would check on me with the pregnancy and stuff, but we didn't kick it all the time.
This bitch allegedly couldn't see somebody setting her up.
What's going to happen next?
But now naturally,
that was
she
time that I really did
foresees
wish
his
we
death.
were a little closer, because I specifically know that was a moment that I heard a difference in his voice.
During all this chaos, Faith and Biggie's son Christopher was born.
I just saw him looking at him so adoringly and being so proud. And it was just like, it was the perfect moment. I don't even think I addressed it first. He probably started crying or something and apologizing to me, and and then we kind of, that was the way we talked about it.
Big was super happy when CJ was born. He was ready to raise his son, he wanted to make a little Biggie. He had plans for his son,
It did give me the thought that maybe he was thinking about getting back together. It certainly didn't sound like a bad idea. If there was any way of us getting back together, most of the work would have had to been on his part.
But Biggie would never get the chance to get his family back.
I was at that party that night, and they were like, you gonna go speak to Go Big? And then I was like, no, he see me, just that whole prideful thing. There was an after party at a house in the hills. As we were driving up Hollywood Hills, Heavy D saw me getting out of my car, walking up to the house where the party was, and he told me, I think something happened to Big. I think you should get go in the car and go to the hospital because I think something happened. I started thinking about all the things that I felt weird about in the first place with him being here. And I just remember starting just praying as I was walking back to the car, like, oh my God, please let him be okay. Oh my God. I went directly to Cedars-Sinai Hospital. And I do, there was a lot of people outside. And I think in my heart, I felt like I'm about to walk in here and touch him and kiss him, and it's gonna be okay. When I walked inside the emergency room, I just could kind of tell that something bad happened. And then the doctor actually told me that we had lost faith. There's nothing really to describe how I felt. Like when they said that he was dead, I was like, whoa. Like, damn. I didn't know what to do.
Do not pay somebody to build you a Shopify store, because I'm going to do it free with 20 handpicked products by my...
Faye was really breaking down and just like, really hurt, crying, throwing her rings, her jewelry. The pain that I saw on her face and the tears that I saw, like that, it was hurtful, very hurtful. I don't think I've ever felt like that ever.
Notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls, as he was known, until he was murdered 9 days ago in Los Angeles.
Basically, my life was changed in a matter of seconds. I didn't really want to do anything. I kind of shut down. I was just like, everybody, everything, I can't even tell you how long it was before, I was able to even think about functioning as, as an individual as far as what I had to do for me. But it was new to me. Not only just, being a widow, losing a husband, but being in that type of situation and having so much on my shoulders to deal with. I was still very much in a gray cloud, but I had a 2-month-old baby, as well as a toddler, and I gotta keep it together.
And Faye channeled her grief to honor her husband's memory.
Puff approached me with the idea to do this tribute. He was like, I want it to be the biggest tribute record ever done. And none of this came in my mind about money or nothing. It was more about like honoring Big. And what he did say to make me want to, go on the studio was, I want the proceeds to go to the kid. The first time we tried to record it, it was this slow, sad song. It was so just sad we couldn't even finish it. And when we went back in, I'm like, I don't think, we're gonna be able to move past the grief. We have to look at it like we have to celebrate the life that he did live. It's never gonna get easy. It's never gonna, it's never gonna be like, okay, it doesn't mean anything to me that he's gone, but it's gonna definitely get easier. The icy wall will melt slowly, but he's gonna always be in your heart,
Faith Evans gives the biggest tribute to her late husband Biggie with the song I'll Be Missing You.
I consider myself very blessed to have shared the love with Big that we had.
Faith even reached out to someone else who cherished Biggie.
Little Kim and I were on the Bad Boy reunion tour together, and actually went and started a conversation, and talking to her about the baby and how she doing, and not only did my problems or issues with her or any other woman pertain to him, they went out the window when he passed away. As far as I'm concerned.
Really, that's beautiful.
I mean, there was no reason for me to
Hold on, yeah.
Right.
She was so receiving,
Humble.
respectful, and humble. Yes.
Yeah. And you know what? To me, that made me say to myself, she's worth having a relationship with.
Well, I definitely know Big is proud of me just, still making my way. It really doesn't matter how much time has passed. The fact that Big is not here is always going to affect me. And, I wish he would have gotten to see CJ grow up. I know that he would have been an amazing dad.
Faith continues to find strength in raising her kids and building a stable family.
I have beautiful children who mean more to me than all of this, so that's constantly what's on my mind more than anything. And I feel like God put me in this place to be their mom, and I have to do the best job that I can.
Oh, she's always giving me support, just always giving us lessons, just teaching us stuff and making sure we're making the right choices.
Faith overcame her grief hoping that her story inspires others.
Yeah, I'm glad that I had the faith to know that there's a reason I'm here and not be overwhelmed by all of these different things that have taken place in my life and career. I'm able to still be here and have somebody care about what I have to say, you know? God chose me to go through so much for a reason, and I'm okay. I'm at peace with myself, and, you know, I'm happy to share those experiences because just like with my music, I just never realized how many people I touched.
So the first person who came to have his back was Madonna.
Why did it never spill into the public?
People were telling me, oh, you can't do that, you're going to make so many people mad.
News about the two hooking up would have created a media frenzy.
You've accumulated incredible fame, and well, is there anything that you would have traded all for?
The world is shocked by the letter from Tupac to Madonna that has been hidden for 20 years.
Tupac Shakur reveals why he broke up with Madonna.
I'm going to never rely on anybody again. I needed to rethink how I was going to continue it.
The pop star is suing to keep Tupac's letter a secret.
I've sort of had this emptiness that I've had to go out into the world to fill up.
I guess you could call it artistic, but nasty.
Banned by MTV as too sexually controversial.
Well, this is a big deal. This is a letter from Tupac to Madonna. It's really honest and shocking.
I can't tell you how far from the truth that is.
Why is Madonna so desperate to hide the letter?
Human beings tend to be much more interested in watching someone fall. People are so frightened of my ideas that they try to undermine my actual talent or any artistic value.
While the rest of the world was against her, there was someone unexpected on her side.
Did you set Madonna up with Tupac?
I was invited to Soul Train Music Awards. Pac was a very, very close friend of mine. I sit in the front row and Madonna just goes.
Meeting men. Is that a problem?
It's not a problem meeting him, it's a problem meeting someone who's not an actor.
I went over to Pac and I said, Pac, Madonna wants to hook up with you. He said, where?
Madonna and Tupac hit it off straight away, supporting each other in secret.
I'm forever meeting people and they're always saying to me, God, you're not anything like I thought you'd be.
Madonna is real nice. She's a good person. She helped me a lot. She was real cool, like any one of my homeboys.
When he first got arrested, nobody had his back. He said the first person that came to have his back was Madonna.
Why did it never spill into the public?
Madonna was at the height of her career, and news about the two hooking up would have created a media frenzy.
You've accumulated incredible fame, and well, is there anything that you would have traded all of that for?
Yes, a mother.
Madonna thought nothing would heal the pain her mom left.
My mother's death was just all a big mystery to me. No one really explained it. I sort of went the other way, which was to say, okay, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to never rely on anybody, so I won't be hurt that way again. And so it made me incredibly independent.
Madonna built herself up as a rebellious pop star.
People were telling me I couldn't do it, made me want to do it even more.
I don't know why I get so much.
You realize this is being broadcast, don't you?
This is who I am. This is who I want to be. Screw what everybody thinks.
But Madonna took it too far, pushing away someone who really cared.
Madonna's coming to visit. Madonna has so much power that the guards let me take an extra shower because they thought she was coming to visit me.
And did she come?
No.
The world is shocked today by the reveal of Tupac's breakup letter to Madonna from prison. He explains the interview that broke his heart.
I started this organization that rehabilitates rappers, and there's just so much work to be done.
He said, quote, "Those words cut me deep. Seeing how I had never known you to be with any rappers besides myself. I was stuck on you. I got scared. Please remember me for the good times and the magic that we shared."
Tupac was gone, just like her mom.
I really did feel completely abandoned, and I'm sure that influenced every decision that I've made. You sort of grow up being afraid to love things because they're going to leave you. And maybe that's why I overreact to things. I am constantly in these situations where I'm completely frustrated, and I always say, God, I wish I had a mother that I could call. And,
reason I put lead generation on a license plate of a Lamborghini is it's still today, since 2019 when I got this car, it's the fastest way that I found this 7 figures a year revenue. That's the number one way that I got.
I don't.
What do you do then? You're by yourself.
Yes.
The love that you get from a mother is the love you can't get anywhere else.
Madonna longed for that love, no matter what other people said.
Do you want children?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel this notorious biological clock?
Absolutely.
Yeah? And what time is it then?
It's time.
I don't think she's an appropriate role model for teenagers.
Shame! 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 Yeah, I was labeled as this woman, who's obsessed with shocking people. Everything that's said about you and believed about you is nowhere near the truth. Builds and builds and snowballs into something that ends up being completely what you're not.
Desperate to prove she could change, Madonna obsessed over the Oscar-worthy role in Evita.
I decided to make this sort of impassioned plea, explaining to him why I was the only person that could play this part.
What kind of woman is she?
Desperate, misunderstood, generous.
She was a little hurt by life.
Hugely hurt. Yeah.
Any of this sound familiar at all?
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course.
The director of Evita warns Madonna she needs to give up control and that the film won't be all about her.
You have to be ready for it, all the challenges. Change equals challenge.
One day on set, Madonna got some shocking news.
The star is pregnant with her first baby. According to her publicist, the pregnancy was unplanned.
I needed to rethink how I was going to continue it.
Could Madonna step up and become the mom she never had?
I was making all kinds of mistakes, living life in a very impulsive way without really thinking about the consequences of my actions or my words in a very selfish way. And I didn't grow up with any sort of female role model to give me an idea of how I should behave.
Was it in a dream also that you had while you were pregnant where you were at the foot of your mother and were asking her
to tell me what my fate was? And she died before she answered me.
Without a mom to help her, Madonna had to write her own fate.
And then I realized the whole point that I've been given, the gifts that I've been given, is so that I can inspire people, really help people. I truly believe that no matter what you've done in your life, you can always change where you are by looking to the future and from that moment on, being a different person.
Did that change or affect the shooting in a way?
I became even more determined to do a good job.
And one moment changed her for good.
The birth of my daughter was sort of a rebirth for me. It made me look at life in a completely new way. I feel very inspired to give my daughter everything my mother couldn't give me. We're not just on this earth to be happy, we're on this earth to make other people happy, to be good, to help, to make the world a better place.
Madonna took control of her destiny and proved her talent to everyone.
The winner is Madonna.
I have been so incredibly blessed this past year, and I have much to be thankful for.
When I saw her performance, see somebody who can do something with that kind of excellence, it makes you want to do better.
People try to hold you down, make you afraid no matter what. No one can take your soul, and you have to find that authentic truth inside of you that keeps you going and helps you rise up.
Everyone has a destiny, and everyone is the master of that destiny. Life is something that you make happen for yourself.
Oh my God, that dude! I couldn't handle it. You know, we were in a room together a couple times. I couldn't speak to him.
Jada's my heart. You know what I mean? She would be my friend for my whole life.
It was beyond friendship for us.
And I was deeply.
Oh, yeah!
come home and I have stood at the base of the steps just dreading the 40 stairs that I have to climb up. And there's 40 because I've counted them. When you're not healthy, it's hard to be happy. I'm Tommy Curtis, and I'm a supernatural athlete. My relationship with exercise was pretty much non-existent. I think the longest time that I've really been consistent with a program would be maybe a month and a half, and then I would just quit because I like to eat and I like to watch TV, and when I get home from work, I like to just relax. You get to that point mentally where it's like, well, I'm already at this state, I might as well just throw in the towel and not even put forth any effort. But I don't want to dread every day because of negativity that I'm going to face. I've always been shy.
But to stay there for 33 years, to have the insane consistency, discipline, dedication, and in his words, addiction to something that will take you to the very top. But then also you'll see the forces in life that take you from that peak to the deepest depths of darkness. And once you're in that darkness, how do you rise from it? How did Buster take himself from the darkest moment of his life that he's really not talked about ever before, back to the peak of his powers? This is a human story. It's one of the most inspiring stories we've ever had on this show, and it's a side of a guy that we've known for many, many decades that I have never seen before. Thank you to Buster for this conversation. And if you like this conversation, if you like what we do here in the Diary of a CEO, before we get started, I've got a 10-second favor to ask you. About 62% of you, roughly, that listen to this podcast frequently haven't yet hit the subscribe button. So if you can hit that subscribe button, it is the reason why we're able to get guests like Busta Rhymes to come here and have these conversations with me. I feel like we're a team here. Give a little, take a little. So if you could hit that subscribe button, that'd be absolutely amazing. It's the only favor that I'll ever ask from you. And I promise you in return that I'll do everything to give you more guests like this one and guests that you love. Enjoy this episode. Buster, sometimes I think that with maturity and with age, we're able to look back at our earliest years and connect dots that only our maturity and only our own growth and development allow us to connect. And those dots sometimes indicate to us why and how we became the person we are today. And that's really what I'm so compelled to understand with you is, what is that early context that you look back on now when you go, the reason I am the man I am today sat here is because of this early context and these things and these people. What is that?
Honestly, I have to say it starts with my mother and my father. My mother and my father was strict. You know what I'm saying? And they also made sure that I didn't need for nothing. I was able to really enjoy what it was to be a child. And, you know, I don't have to sit here and mislead people. Like, I come from some poor struggle, and I come from this hood shit. Like, yeah, I was in the hood. I was in Brooklyn, East Flatbush, Brooklyn, New York. And I was in the hood with enough of the goons and the hooligans, but the difference about our era and the way you mostly hear artists try to portray it now is even the guys that was the goons and the gangsters and the troublemakers in the street, they had respect and they had integrity and they understood what it was to have proper manners. Like, if my mother, as serious as she was, saw any of the other kids in the street, it was like, I'm giving you an example of how it really literally took a village to raise a child. Like, none of the neighbors on the block would see another child that they watched grow from a little boy into becoming a teenager or something and see that kid misbehaving and not reprimand him in the street, even if they're not his parent. So my neighbors had permission to bust my ass if I was misbehaving. And then they would tell my mother, and if my mother felt like I misrepresented her to make another neighbor have to discipline me, that was gonna get me another ass beating. So you ended up getting 2 ass beatings for every one trouble that you caused. You know what I'm saying? And that shit was important because I think that as a community, that shit is something it doesn't exist anymore. You can't tell nobody else kid nothing. Kids ain't trying to listen to you tell them nothing. They'll lift up something and fling it after you or go upside your head and disrespect you because it's just a totally different value in the way things are done in the community. So it starts with my parents and the way I was raised in the house to have respect for my parents, have respect for my other elders, even if you wasn't my parent, and also even if you was dudes that was in the street, you still an elder, we had to respect you as an elder. In return, that same respect that came from the house, and you, whenever you went abroad and you conducted yourself in that manner, it would garnish the same respect in return. So even if it was a dude in the street on some street shit, the respect that you showed to that elder still warranted a certain respect from them. They wouldn't disrespect the respect that you was raised in your house to have for your family and for them. So that respect was upheld, and it was that integrity was defended. And that was a real solid foundation that all of the other floors was built on, which eventually evolved into becoming a skyscraper for me. So I'm gonna start there with the kids. And I'm gonna go to the neighborhood because again, when my parents was around, I got the same discipline from the neighbors, the hardworking middle-class families, the less fortunate families that was still in the neighborhood. We all was on the same accord about discipline and respect.
Was it easy to see when you look back how you could have gone another way in that context?
Absolutely, because all of those things were still there. The drug dealing was still there. The shootings were still happening. The robberies were still happening. All of that was there, right? But the beautiful thing was there was a serious presence of balance that was just as impressionable as all of the things that was the negative presence that was strong and that did get a stronghold on a lot of the youth in the community at the time.
How come you didn't go the other way?
I did. I just was fortunate enough to have something like hip hop that was able to be an alternative that saved my life, changed my life. And I had some incredible people that was around me to support me when I found this interest in, and I identified with my gift as an artist to be able to entertain people, perform, articulate my thoughts through song and rhyme form. And I had an incredible support system with my moms. I had an incredible support system with just the other friends and family that I grew up with that was in the community. And then, last but not least, the determination that I had to want to be able to not disappoint the people that I knew that really was proud of what I was doing, good, bad, or indifferent.
Who are they?
It was all of them, right? So for example, I pissed my moms off when I decided I wanted to start selling weed and selling crack, right? And the guys that was in the street that I was doing it with, when they realized, even though I was doing it and it was cool for us to do it, they didn't really want us to do it. When they started to see that we had potential to do other things that was gonna keep us safe and keep us away from the street, a lot of the time they didn't have a better opportunity to offer us. So they made sure that they was as present as they could be to guide us through the shit that they didn't even want us to do in the first place, which was the stupidness we was carrying on with in the street. So they did everything they could to minimize the bullshit that we would get into, so we don't get killed, so we don't go to jail, so none of that shit would happen. But once they realized they didn't have a better opportunity for us, that is what they felt was the best that they could do. If we're gonna do the bullshit, we gotta be there to protect them and make sure that they straight and we guide them so that they could do it the best way with the least amount of bullshit.
As a younger
kid, right? When they started to see that this rapping thing and this hip hop shit and breakdancing and graffiti and DJing and all of that shit was something that we started to generate interest for, that's when they started to encourage us to do that more.
Instead of cracking.
Instead of selling the drugs, instead of selling weed, instead of stealing this and taking that. And so they were so happy to see we found another way. They wanted us to do that. So the more we did that, if we started to show them any indication as we was making progress that we wasn't continuing to be productive, now it felt like you was pissing off two sets of parents. I'm already pissing off my parents because I'm with them in the street. Now they see me doing this music shit, they like that shit, they proud of me. So if I'm not doing well in that, now I'm disappointing them too.
What was the consequence of your parents separating at 11 years old? Because I think about me being 11 years old. I remember a conversation. My mum's Nigerian. I was born in Botswana. My dad's English.
Right.
I remember around that age, about 10 years old, my parents calling me in and basically telling me they didn't love each other anymore. And it was like the world had broken in half.
Yeah.
It's like you can't comprehend the concept of these two people being separate. It's like being torn into two pieces.
Yeah.
How was it for you at 11 years old when you find that out?
It was disastrous for me because, like you said, you can't really ever wrap your head around that. As a child, you don't know how to conceptualize that. Like, obviously there was things that I was able to do and there was enjoyment I was able to have when I spent time with my father that I couldn't get when I was with my mother. There was things that I was always able to get as far as nurturing and being cared for and being babied from my mother that I couldn't get from my father. And obviously divine order is mother and father to make baby, right? So I definitely didn't want to lose neither one of them.
Did you change?
I definitely changed because I wasn't I couldn't figure out how to find the behaved kid that I was, even though I was still getting into shit. The bullshit really started once my mother and my father got a divorce. The misbehaving really started picking up. The disrespect started to pick up and intensify. The anger was just a lot more.
Why?
It overwhelmed me more because I wasn't happy with my situation. And then I wasn't happy with the way that I was directly impacted by their beef. So like, you know, there would be times when if my mother and my father wasn't getting along, fresh discrepancy between the two of them, say like the day my father supposed to pick up me and my brother, because I only got one younger brother, and say he supposed to come and pick us up on this day in particularly for his visitation weekend. If an argument started with the two of them that morning, you know, my father would get to the house and then my mother wouldn't even let us go. And we would look and see him in the front of the house from the window. And my mom's would just be on some bullshit.
How did you feel looking at him from the window?
It was fucking crazy.
You wanted to go, I'm guessing.
Of course. You know what I'm saying? Because there was things and there was other family that obviously was on my father's side, cousins and kids from the neighborhoods of the cousins part of Brooklyn or Queens and different areas of New York that we would go, that we had friends and with the family and with the neighborhood friends that we met through our other family and other cousins and things of that nature in the different neighborhoods. We wouldn't get to see these people until dad came to get us because moms wasn't cool really with that side of the family like that. My father's side of the family wasn't really rocking with my mother's side of the family like that. So if that rotation didn't happen in the visits, we didn't get to enjoy that. We missed our dad. We was only getting the opportunity to see him, you know, once a week, once every 2 weeks, or sometimes once a month if they beefing with each other.
Did your relationship with your father at that point kind of become a bit strained because of that beef? Did you start to see him less and less and less?
Yeah, I think my conflict with my father, it started to happen more and more because, you know, obviously, the lack of a parent's presence has an effect in different ways, right? And as a son, I don't know what it is, but I just think instinctually, boys cling on to their moms more. I don't know if that's always the case, but in most cases, that's usually what it is. I think my father's personality was a little conflicting for me with the way my personality was. And the contrast of my father's personality as opposed to my mother's personality, it drew conflict for me too, because my father, he wasn't as interested in the shit that I wanted to do, or that the shit that I was interested in as a child. Like, he always was more serious about whatever he felt was best for my future was all that mattered. It wasn't about what I thought, it was about what he thought. So I always started to feel like, in having the comparison and seeing the contrast between that and how supportive my mother was for the shit that I wanted to do, like, you know, first time I got some pussy, I could come tell my mother. I could sit down and tell my mother about how that felt, you know what I'm saying? I could sit and tell my moms about, you know, my first wet dream or some shit. I could talk to my moms about the music that I'm making in the studio with my crew, leaders of the new school at the time, and I could come home and I could play that shit in the house. I could turn up the shit. Just as long as I could do, just as long as I did what I was supposed to in the house, my mother was with all the other shit, as long as it was productive and it kept me away from the trouble in the street. That was relieving for her. My father, you tried to talk to him at the time about some rap shit. He was like, I don't want to hear that shit. That shit is a bunch of bullshit. And you wasting your time with that shit. That's how I used to talk. You know what I'm saying? Now, at that time, I didn't respect it. And at that time, I felt the way, I felt real fucked up about that, because it was just like, I could be doing some real bullshit. Like, I'm actually still 1 foot in, because I haven't succeeded at this. This shit don't make me no money. I do this shit because I love it. Like, I just love it. So when I'm able to do shit that I love with my friends and with my people that I'm entertained by doing it with them, it's because I have this thing with a crew that there's a collective enjoyment that we're getting from doing this music shit.
Are you still trying to prove him wrong to some degree? Did you find yourself trying to prove him wrong then?
Nah, because I got my opportunity to do it.
But before that moment,
at that time,
yeah,
absolutely, I was trying to prove him wrong. I was so determined to prove him wrong that it forced me to excel. Because the more that he wanted me to do what he wanted me to do,
which was,
my father was a licensed electrical contractor.
Okay.
So he used to force me to come to work. His way of keeping me off the street was bringing me to work with him, because he had his own company as a licensed electrical contractor.
How did you feel about that?
I was disgusted with that shit, because we working in these nasty fucking buildings with rats and roaches running around and shit, and it took childhood time for me because I wasn't able to be outside and play. That's really what I wanted to do.
And how old were you then? 12?
It started a little younger than that, but right around 12 is when it got serious. I would say like around 10 years old was when it started. 12 is when it got serious, because my mother used to send us to different countries every summer with my father, just so we could be able to explore what it was like to live in Jamaica for a summer with the family. Same shit with England. My mother would send us to England. So when I was around, there was one summer we came out here.
You were 10?
I was like 10, 11.
Yeah.
My brother was younger than me, like 7. I'm staying in Morecambe them time, and Preston, and we went to karate school here, we went to primary school here, and we was breakdancing, and I had these cousins that used to, named Samantha and Michaela. They used to take me, and Val, they used to take me to these little clubs, because they used to bring us to like this little area where it was like I wouldn't call it a downtown area, but it was an area like a downtown area in the Morecambe area and in the Preston area, in the Blackpool area. And we would go and we would break dance out there with the young kids that was from England. And, you know, we had our style of doing shit from New York, And we was some dangerous little motherfuckers now.
Busta Rhymes.
You know, we was getting busy. We was making it happen. We twisting up and popping and all of this shit. So
Busta Rhymes. I didn't just says Busta Rhymes finally opens up about his grief, depression, and recovery. And I didn't know. Just everything I've heard thus far, I didn't know about him. I didn't know. It was cool for me at this point, to see the indifferences between he and I. What's going on, sir? Salute. Sitting here waiting on the missus to get back with some raps so I can roll something up. I've just been sitting here having my wake and bake. The undefeatable Busta Rhymes, right? As he was talking, I was just doing, I listen, but I listen for specific reasons sometimes. And in this instance, I'm listening to him talk about his life in Brooklyn. And I don't. Hey, Google, how old is Busta Rhymes?
Busta Rhymes is 51 years old. I also found an answer to this question. When was Busta Rhymes' first song? Do you want to hear it?
No. He's 51. I'll be 50 here in a few months. Less than 3. So he's a year older than me. She should also mention the date, aside from the year, 51 years old, born on, and it's funny, I just passed it as I recognized your comment. He was talking about his life when he was 12, at 12, and this man's only a year older than me, and at 12, he said he was doing whatever he was involved in. Clearly wasn't what the fuck I was dealing with when I was 12. There's a lot of things I correlate, relate with him, to him, for. There's a lot of things I don't. I was just sitting there vibing in the reality of that, listening to him explain how different we are. I didn't think we were the same anybody much. It's crazy to find, it is revealing to listen to people that you've looked up to or inspired by or had some sort of, admiration for. Grew up in the same neck of the woods, and at the same time, and what he was going through, which makes sense why I remember him being the shit while I was already off in the fucking group homes, leader in new school and all that. Little bro, what's going on, sir? The word is consistency. Swap it out for focus if you like. I like to use the both. Consistent focus, if that could be one word, Fustampede. Pero que tú estás haciendo, So, got a little storming in at once and shit. Cool. Yeah, so checking that. Again, waiting on the wraps to roll up. Give me a minute. How about yourselves? What y'all got going on? Like, I would have thought before asking Google or finding out that Busta Rhymes is only 1 year older than me, I would have thought he was 11 years older than me, you know? 9 at least. You know, Dead by Daylight. And on another note, I'm on my holiday spirit. More so though, closure of the year spirit. Happy to have been here for another one spirit. Another one in the books. It ain't over, just quite yet, but you know, don't count your, what is it? Don't count your chickens before the eggs have hatched. But yeah, I'm on my, chilling, appreciative to still be in the universal moment. I'm on my chilling. Glad to still be a part of the program type vibes. Like he said something, I don't know, about 5 minutes back about the impact that the divorce of his parents that had on him. And he spoke on both of his parents and how both of his parents were strict. His mom, a little less strict than his father. But the impact that the divorce of his parents had on him. And I never really stopped to acknowledge that. Then again, for myself, because my parents divorced when I was 10. And then he said something else about the father-son, father-mother relation, and it's just like, I have such a different deal than the average or normal situation. Makes it so different. Like he's, I'm sitting there listening to him talk about, relations he had with his dad, the reason how he made it where he is, because he went against his dad, but his dad wanted to set out for him to be an electrician and whatnot. And which was cool, in my opinion. No harm in that. Especially in those times. I remember, parents, the generation that was raising us wasn't encouraging music. No, they were encouraging, go get your ass a job, get your ass a trade, go learn something fail-proof. Become an electrician, whatever, a plumber. So, but I didn't even get any of that. You know? My shit, and then that's where I'm kind of there observing that for myself. Like, these motherfuckers really had it good. Wanting a fat fish is a phenomenal Farvig-Nugan. Fuck is going on? One of my favorite Busta Rhymes lines. Something he said about, in the beginning, he's like, grew up in Brooklyn. He said, but he wasn't a goon, he wasn't, with the shits and all that. No. He said he didn't come from the projects and poverty and all that. No. His parents had it so that he didn't want for, and he wasn't forced to the streets and none of that shit. I didn't know that about him. I didn't think that he was. I didn't know anything. Sometimes when you're busy living your life, you don't really have the luxury of time to step back and look at other people's lives. And he is. Yeah, Busta's true. Yeah, I'm not saying anything critiquing. I'm not critiquing anything. I'm not taking an increment of anything away from him, or no, just revealing. To me, like, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know this. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And because he is who he is now, and they had that conversation too. Because you are where you are now, to turn and look back and be able to connect dots of certain things. It's cool that he can do it. And he vocalized that. He said, people went out of their way to teach him how to articulate his emotions, transition that into music. So, he really worked on his deal. He really went out of his way. The way that you should have, that of an artist. Half-ass it. But, it's really cool. And it's funny. Not funny, but it's ironic. It's ill that, by his own admittance, he wasn't a child that had to deal with struggle. Him and his parents weren't poor in the projects, Section 8 or whatever the case, the room. He didn't come from that. But that also didn't matter back then, in the period of timetable to which he grew up in, as well as myself. Again, at the end of each corner of my block that I grew up, on in Brooklyn were the projects. We were surrounded by them, literally. Like there wasn't, you didn't, like, across the street were other houses. You look to the left and there were towering Gowanna projects. You look to the right and there was towering Wyckoff projects. And there was nothing separating those projects but our block. And like two others. The next block over and the block behind us, which actually was like some other shit, some business or some shit. Wasn't even houses on the next block behind us. So it was just us and two projects, which is also now 4 or 5 blocks from Barclay Center. Right. So it wasn't like, aha, we live in the good life or anything. That never even fucking came into play. We were all just the hood. This is 1980. And he said something about visitation between his parents and how that, was tearing him apart and whatnot. And just, I don't know, it made me reflect on my situation. It's kind of crazy. I am completely on the opposite side of that. Like he said, when his parents separated, it bothered him. Understandable, fully. When my parents separated, I was happy. When I got wind of it, oh, word? Oh, they're not, oh, okay, cool. And I wanted to go on with my dad, who I thought to be my dad, my stepdad. That's how, that's different. That is just different. So, just to give y'all an explanation, I'm just listening to him and his situation, and says that he opens up about his grief, depression, and recovery. So I'm just like, word, okay, how'd that go? What's that about? So I'm just listening. Back to it.
It was something where we just became a part of this breakdance community, and they was always looking forward to.
Matter of fact, I'll backtrack just to the beginning of 1 second.
Some degree. Did you find yourself trying to prove him wrong then?
Nah, because I got my opportunity to do it.
But before that moment,
at that time,
yeah,
absolutely, I was trying to prove him wrong. I was so determined to prove him wrong that it forced me to excel. Because the more that he wanted me to do what he wanted me to do,
which was,
my father was a licensed electrical contractor. So he used to force me to come to work. His way of keeping me off the street was bringing me to work with him, because he had his own company as a licensed electrical contractor.
How did you feel about that?
I was disgusted with that shit, because we working in these nasty fucking buildings with rats and roaches running around and shit, and it took childhood time for me because I wasn't able to be outside and play. That's really what I wanted to do.
And how old were you then? 12?
It started a little younger than that, but right around 12 is when it got serious. I would say like around 10 years old was when it started.
And that's crazy to me. That Busta Rhymes at the age of 12 years old, this man's only 1 year older than me. At the age of 12 years old, he's disgusted with the idea that his father wants him to take him under the company, obviously to inherit the company, become a businessman and incorporate the business and all that work. But now he's 12 and what did he just say? I was disgusted because he was being robbed, he felt, of child playtime. At 12, I was on 42nd Street selling motherfucking ounces of crack cocaine. This ninja worried about playtime. I'm just saying, it hits different.
12 is when it got serious because my mother used to send us to different countries every summer with my father, just so we could be able to explore what it was like to live in Jamaica for a summer with the family. Same shit with England. My mother would send us to England. So when I was around, there was one summer we came out here.
You were 10.
It was like 10, 11.
Yeah.
My brother was younger than me, like 7.
Off them years. I'm
staying in Morecambe them time.
Nigga flying in England.
Preston. And we went to karate school here. We went to primary school here. And we was breakdancing. And I had these cousins that used to, named Samantha and Michaela. They used to take me, and Val, they used to take me to these little clubs because they used to bring us to like this little area where it was like I wouldn't call it a downtown area, but it was an area like a downtown area in the Morecambe area and in the Preston area and in the Blackpool area. And we would go and we would break dance out there with the young kids that was from England. And, you know, we had our style of doing shit from New York, and we was some dangerous little motherfuckers. Now, we was getting busy. We was making it happen. We twisting up and popping and all of this shit. So it was something where we just became a part of this breakdance community, and they was always looking forward to seeing us. We would go out there like 3-4 times a week. Other people, promoters, they would see us. They started to book us to come in their clubs. Obviously, we're too young to go in the club, so they would let us come perform 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then we would have to leave immediately. So we made a little money that way, get a little 10 pounds here for a show, a little 20 pounds there for a show. But these are the things that we grew around. So when I was around all of this, and that started to slow down, Dad was like, okay, y'all ain't going nowhere this summer. You coming to work. Do I want to go to work? No. Do I want to be an electrician? No. Do I want to be fucking pulling BX cable through sheetrock? No. Do I want to be hammering nails and then bang my finger? No. Do I want to see rats and fucking roaches crawling over my shoes and my Timberland boots? And I don't want to do none of that. And I'm watching kids riding up and down and Papa wheeling on the bike and music playing outside, and I can't do that shit. I used to be super angry at that shit every day with my father.
What did you want to do instead?
I wanted to rap. I wanted to make music. I wanted to break dance. I wanted to do all the shit that hip hop consisted of. Like I became the embodiment
of
red
hip tops on 42nd.
It was the thing that was my excuse to not go to work.
Oh,
did you want to rap?
Well, number one, I wanted to be the DJ.
I wish I had a dad that would have, like, you know what I mean? Look, this is what you finna do. This is what it is. I done built all this. You finna be a part of it.
Really got good
I don't want to hear nothing.
To be the DJ.
Let's go. Sure,
I was
Dad.
able to do it, but I was never nice enough to become the superstar DJ. And at that time, the DJ was super important because all of the groups had the DJ name. So the Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Jam Master J, Run DMC. Like, the DJ was always the solo. It was like he was the big shot. So when I'm not really the technology dude, you know what I'm saying? So all of this equipment shit, like, it was just a little complicated for me. And then,
but you wanted to make music.
Actually became an MC by accident. And the interesting part about that was I caught 2 charges selling crack by the time I was 12.
Oh, okay.
Fortunately, the laws were different, and I was a minor. So I didn't see no serious trouble, but I was definitely on my way to getting into some serious trouble if my mother didn't say, all right, enough of this shit, we gotta get you out of here.
Oh, mom's to the rescue.
That's when she took me from Brooklyn and brought me to Long Island.
Okay.
got to Long Island, that's when I met Brown.
Right, because if your parents
C. Brown,
fucking
leaders of the new school.
had your back and you got caught selling crack,
Milo is
as a
my
child,
mother's sister's son, so he's
could
my
be swept
first
under the
blood
rug.
cousin. But before we brought in Milo, and even before we brought in Dinko, it was me, Dinko, and another dude named Mystery. Mystery was hustling in the street too. But we
Respectfully, rewind. You got dark kind of quick. Went from wanting to play in the streets to catching 2 charges of selling crack cocaine. What happened?
I caught 2 charges selling crack by the time I was 12. And fortunately, the laws was different, and I was a minor. So I didn't see no serious trouble, but I was definitely on my way to getting into some serious trouble if my mother didn't say, all right, enough of this shit, we gotta get you out of here. That's when she took me from Brooklyn and brought me to Long Island. When I got to Long Island, that's when I met Brown, C. Brown from Leaders of the New School, Dinko D from Leaders of the New School. Milo is my mother's sister's son, so he's my first blood cousin. But before we brought in Milo, and even before we brought in Dinko, it was me, Dinko, and another dude named Mystery. Mystery was hustling in the street too. But when we went to Long Island now, a lot of other families was thinking like my mother. They brought their kids from Brooklyn to Long Island, from Queens to Long Island, from the Bronx to Long Island. So we left the neighborhood, which is the hood we was raised in. We left the hood to come to the suburbs and still be around a bunch of kids from the hood. You know what I'm saying? So the same shit you was running from, we found a way to do the same shit in these nice neighborhoods now. And here we come as the generation terrorizing these beautiful neighborhoods. And we fucked these neighborhoods up.
When you say you became an accidental MC,
this is what happened. I wasn't rapping yet. I was only breakdancing, I was only popping, and I was DJing a little bit, and I was messing around with the graffiti. I wasn't rapping yet. So when I moved to Long Island, I meet Charlie Brown. I meet Mystery. And what ends up happening is in this junior high school now, they got like these lip sync contests, they got rap contests, and you know, we now finally getting a chance to experience what it's like to be in school where you have periods, different periods in classes, and you in one class for 45 minutes to an hour, then the bell ring, and then you switch. I got the hallway action, everybody talking shit. Go to the next class, you flirt with a couple of chicks on the way to the next class. So all of that interaction is starting now. Puberty kicking in crazy. You know, you're 13 years old, 12, 13 now, you're starting to get your hormones just moving different. So obviously you're going through the stage in your life now where you want to impress everybody. You want to be the cool guy in school. So whenever you came to Long Island from the 5 boroughs, it was a thing. Oh, that's the new kid from Brooklyn. Oh, that's the new kid from Queens. Oh, that's the new kid from Bronx. That's the new kid from Staten Island. So me being one of the new kids from Brooklyn, it created this talk. And the rapping thing is happening. Charlie Brown was like the guy. He was like the number 1 rap dude in school at the time. So one day I'm coming out of the school and we get in the schoolyard, and you know, some of the kids waiting on the school buses, some of the kids is waiting to see, you know, the football game or the basketball game after school. There was like a cipher that was formed in this particular day, and it was a big one. And it was C. Brown rapping and 2 other kids, and then C. Brown was getting most of the shine. I walks over to the cipher and I started beatboxing, right? And Brown, he doing his rap shit to my beatbox or whatever, and you know, I'm keeping the beat going for him.
I used to beatbox.
And then everything was smooth in the beginning. Like, you know, he was just rhyming, everything was cool, and you know, he sounded good. And then like probably like a good 30, 40 seconds into it, he just started disrespecting me. So I'm beatboxing for him, and he dissing me, and I'm kind of like torn between, should I punch this dude in his face, or should I just keep beatboxing and not be the party pooper of the party energy that we have in here?
And you were how old?
I was 12. I was 13 now, and I'm saying to myself, I'm from Brooklyn, and the mentality back then was everybody from Long Island was pussy. You know, it's the suburbs, it's the green grass, it's the flower beds, it's the nice houses. We come from concrete jungle, we come from projects, we come from struggle. So I'm looking at this dude, and I'm just looking at him like, I'm gonna fuck you up like in 2 seconds because you a pussy to me, but you disrespecting me in front of all of these people. And if I don't do something, then they gonna look at me like I'm a pussy too. So as I'm getting ready to do something stupid, the rhyme stopped. Like he was done, and everybody was bigging him up, and you know, I ain't wanna look like a sore loser, even though there was no battle. He just chose to diss me for no reason. And I couldn't understand it because I'm like, yo, I'm here to support you right now. I'm giving you the beat, the whole shit, and fuck you up. Long story short, that was the day. I said, all right, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna write a rhyme tonight. And I'm gonna come back tomorrow and I'm gonna fucking disrespect this youth in front of everybody, the same way he dissed me up in front of everybody. And the next day, I came to school, I waited all day, I ain't tell nobody shit. We got back in that same yard, nice big crowd the next day. He rhyming again, I started beatboxing for him again, like it's the exact thing happening like the day before. So we going and I'm doing what I'm doing and everything is cool and nobody ain't got no clue because I didn't say shit to nobody about having raps ready. And the crazy shit is when I wrote my rhymes, I was listening to a bunch of LL Cool J shit because at the time LL was battling everybody on record, you know what I'm saying? Battling Kumo D, battle Ice-T, battle, you know, he was the one that was trying to take everybody's head off, and I was like, yo, I want to come like LL so I could tear this boy head off. So I ended up doing my shit, and somehow it went from me beatboxing to him and for him to me telling him, yo, why don't you do a beat for me? And he was like, oh, you got raps ready today? I'm like, just do a beat. Let me just try something. So he did the beat, and I started off the rhyme on some calm shit. And then when I started to get into the disrespect lines, that's when the whole thing just started to happen on its own. Like, my frustration and then me seeing the people reacting to my shit the way that I wanted them to, it just made me more confident, more cocky, more charismatic. And that's when the whole Busta Rhymes thing started to happen. And my name wasn't even Busta Rhymes at the time. I had a fucked up rap name at the time. What was it? Yo, my name was terrible, yo. My name at the time, I had two. I had my name from being a part of the 5% Nation of the Gods and Earths, which that name was cooler. That was Lord Tahine, right? But somehow I abandoned that to become like the rappers that had 3-part names, right?
Is there a reason you're not telling me?
I'm getting to it. I'm just trying to help with, I'm setting it up with the proper prerequisite. So LL Cool J is a 3-part name.
Yeah.
Jam Master J is a 3-part name. All of the guys from the Fat Boys. Prince, Marky D, Cool Rock Ski. Them dudes had 3-part names, right? I changed my name to Chill O Ski. That name is so fucking terrible. I know. I'm sorry. Name was terrible. And you know what's so crazy? I kept that name for a long time because I really thought it was the shit. Because I felt like
Chill O Ski.
Chill O Ski, bro. Terrible. I know it's terrible. But I really was proud of like I got a 3-part name like my favorites. And if you want to be like your favorites, you got to do the shit that is a replication of your favorites. And then I destroyed Charlie Brown so bad that at the end of that night, the end of that little battle, that afternoon after school, he just came over to the side and was like, yo, we should be in a group together.
And that's really the day that I guess Busta Rhymes, I guess it's a catalyst moment, the day Busta was born. You talked about how that kind of moment helped you develop your style and your charisma and the way you carried yourself. And from then till when you get signed at 17 years old, I'm curious about what happens in that moment, because that's really, you know, a lot of people at 12 years old or 10 years old or whatever want to be hip-hop actors, or hip-hop stars, or they want to be whatever, they want to be musicians, but very, very few make it to the top table. What happens between the playground that day and 17 years old you getting signed? When you look back and go, it was for that reason.
12-year-olds want to be on the fucking
Was it
playground.
natural talent? Is it hard work? Is it all of the above?
It's all of the above, but the first thing for me was the addiction to the reaction that I was getting from the people, and I was seeing it and how it felt in real time. And just looking at the fact that I came up with something in my crib by myself in my bedroom that was fueled by a determination of wanting to defend myself like a fight. And a lot of the times, I don't think I might have said it like this. I've said it before, but I don't think I've said it a lot. I don't know if it would have been, I had the same desire to want to be in hip hop. I had the same desire to want to rhyme, DJ, but I don't know if that moment didn't happen, I don't know if I would have pursued being an MC. At that time, it probably wouldn't have happened.
I've sat here with a lot of people who are comedians and entertainers and actors in the biggest movies in the world. And it's so interesting to me that there tends to be an early catalyst moment where they perform maybe in front of the family at Christmas, right, or on stage or whatever it is, and they get this reaction. And in that moment, that reaction does something to them on a psychological level, which becomes, the word you used is the word I hear, becomes this addiction.
Yeah.
And I often wonder to myself, because a lot of other people will experience that reaction and not develop the addiction.
Right.
So the reaction, it appears to me, is doing something for those people that they needed at that moment.
Yes, I needed it at that moment. I'm gonna tell you something. It actually happened before that. To want to be an MC happened in that moment. The addiction to entertaining people, and that shit happened when I was like 7, 8 years old. Maybe even six years old, because where it started for me initially was, you know, at the time, and particularly like I was saying, how the neighborhood was back then and how we was raised in our house back then. My mother and my father, you know, we had to go to bed at 9 o'clock on a school night. And on the weekends, when we was that young, we might be able to stay up until about 10 o'clock, but we still had to go to bed by a certain time. When my mother had company, on like my father, and they had like family and friends, or, you know, they just had their little grown-up get-togethers, and they get to drinking a little bit. Sometimes, you know, they so entertained by each other's company, they forget to send us to bed at 9 o'clock. They playing music and shit. And I used to have to do things. I would try to creatively come up with ways to avoid being sent to bed at 9 o'clock. So when they playing music, the first thing that I would always get into doing is reenactments of Michael Jackson and from the Jackson 5 and James Brown dance routines. So I used to do that shit, and I was nice with the fucking split and spinning around and shit and carrying on. I'm doing all type of shit, and I'm for hours until I literally would be sweating through my clothes. But it was so entertaining that sometimes the whole company that was there for my family, my mother and my father, they ended up cheering me on and rooting me on to continue, and they bigging up my mom's about how much talent her son has. And
was it not that feeling then that you were chasing?
That's what it was first. That's what I was saying. Like, I wasn't thinking about being no rapper then, but I knew what that feeling felt like, and I always wanted that feeling. And that feeling started in the crib, and then it translated into me trying to get that attention in the classrooms, which turned me into a jokester in the class. So I would do shit to get the attention of the crowd from the class. Became like this class clown dude, and I would get in trouble and shit. And then it translated from that into, you know, me breakdancing and doing all of this hip hop shit, because I loved hip hop, and I was starting to see what was being created as a movement and what was being generated as an interest that was taking over. Like, it didn't matter what else was cool at the time. When hip hop started to really become that shit, there was nothing more important than knowing how to do something that was a representation of hip hop. If you was a graffiti artist and you was fucking dope, you became something that was like on a celebrity status level. And that's when motherfuckers started putting graffiti on clothes, and everybody that was involved with hip hop or some kind of representation of hip hop became some sort of celebrity. So for me, that's why I wanted to learn how to do everything in hip hop, because I still didn't know what I wanted to do. The DJ shit, complicated. The breakdancing shit, I ain't like the fucking bruises I was getting all the time. You know what I'm saying? And the graffiti shit, I was cool with it, but it was really when that situation happened with me and C. Brown.
He said he was ready to see James Brown move and Michael Jackson.
And I was able to get the feeling of when I was this little boy dancing for my parents and their company. And at the same time, I was able to have that spotlight on me being the rapper guy. So it's like all of this shit became the thing that I started to grow, not only this appreciation for it, but I started to grow addicted to this shit.
That is what I was expecting. In terms of, like, I was just trying to figure out the psychological reason why you became so addicted to this. Because listen, I come from a background where lots of my friends started rapping and most of them fell off. And then there's like one or two of them that just became like their medication to some shit.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered why they just, like, that individual just stuck at it for all those years.
Yeah.
But in that answer, we have the
I think the biggest addiction for me out of all of it was to be able to say to my father, I wanted to be able to experience the day, not knowing if it would ever come, but it was a serious thing. Like, I used to write this shit on my wall and just on a piece of paper, and I would stick it on the wall. And it would say, one day, I'm going to get a deal, I'm gonna sign a contract, I'm gonna come home with so much fucking money that I'm gonna be able to tell my father, I told you so. That's all I wanted to be able to do. And I wrote that shit and put it on the wall. And I would look at that shit every day. And it would be days still when he would tell me I gotta come to work. And I would look at that sign, and then I would see him outside in the truck, and I'd walk out that fucking house, and I would be mad as hell. Angry. And what I do love about my father as I got older is I understood what he wanted. He just wanted to make sure I wasn't wasting my time. He built this company. He wanted to pass it down.
It was love.
It's love. It was...
You were denying your father's love, sir.
I'm his pride and his joy.
Fuck yeah.
And failure is not an option with my father.
And I guess where he came from, you know, it's the same with my mother. My mother, when I told her at 18 I wasn't going to university,
Rap is
wouldn't
something
speak to
that
me for
you
years.
don't know
But
if
she
you're gonna
comes
make it
from
or not.
Nigeria.
That's
She
not a
lives out
fucking
in the 70s
guarantee.
old. She can't read or write today. So I was the only of her 4 kids. I was
He's
the only
trading
one.
his job, that's a guarantee, that's a
Now, she stood in
constant.
my way
Ripping
to start a
motherfucking
business,
beeline wire
etc.,
out
etc.
the,
But in
the
my maturity,
drywall is a
she stood in
constant.
my way because she loved me.
Absolutely.
At the time, and everyone goes. A lot of people go through, especially sort of immigrant kids and stuff.
Us primarily.
Yeah.
Because that pain and that struggle, that suffering that they come from, that shit ain't no... That's not this shit that we was raised in. That, you know, me and you, we obviously, even if you was born there, you wasn't... You didn't spend your years there to experience the pain that...
See, that's what I don't like. That's not necessarily I don't like. Yeah, I do. I don't like that. That they bring about this comparison from immigrant life, Caribbean, West Indian, Caribbean, that somehow, or while it has its truths, but that they're suffering harder struggle than we are. I disagree. Nah. Guaranteedly, if you look at one instance where someone's making it here and has everything, and another instance where they have the same thing, their parents love them and there's no problem, it's just the country is poor, okay. But in another instance where you have a child here who had everything, but everything fucking torn from them, thrown into the everything of the fucking ugliness and shit show of this fucking country, versus a child who was thrown into the same situation in his country, there is no fucking difference. To me, both of them are equal in their struggle. And if you want to really fucking nitpick, well then, the child who is in with the riches and the good surroundings and is getting fucking shitted on has the harder fall than the child who grew up around the surroundings where there's nothing of that to worry about missing or being a part of. But yeah, no, because yeah, I don't agree with that argument. Eduardo, who arrived yesterday from Venezuela, he ain't lived no fucking harder life than me, as far as I'm concerned. And I give a rat's ass what he been through on a level. Just as he's shown he'd give a rat's ass of what I've been through. He's already pre-programmed, arrived here to hate. I have enough to say so and believe it because I'm here with a large population of the immigrants that have been ushered into our country. So. Anyway. It fails to amaze me. When I find out other people's lives and they think that they had it bad and hard and whatnot. To how much, in comparison to myself. So in other words, I guess God has great things in store for me. And you also gotta have great things in store for yourself. Anyway. So, little bro, is that you? Or is the number fucking up? Is there more than one? Who's that? Shaman, that you? Y'all the only two that said something aside from food stamps. I know that ain't him. Well, I don't know. Food stamps, is that you? Who's that? Someone said, as a 74-year-old grandmother, I just fell in love with Busta Rhymes after listening to this interview. Much respect. That is all. What's up? I like to see that too. People inspired by others, or just to see the effect that entertainers have on their on people. How many people listen and support entertainers or artists? I always find that kind of astonishing because it shows, in most instances, people never thought no one was listening to them, or people weren't listening to them, and then, you know, when they get to voice their opinion, it shows how many people actually respect your opinion or you or whatever. Has his dark side too. As expected, no response. I ask questions, don't get answers. Then I'm left to assume, okay, it might be somebody in one of y'all and you didn't hear me and you got something else going on in the background. Cool, all right, that's an option. Hey Google. Play hip-hop instrumentals.
Got it. Here's hip-hop instrumentals on YouTube Music.
in the cut with a scalpel to catch you in your Achilles to make sure you don't get up. No, can I help you? Where you going? Your step is corrupt. If you didn't see they neck in the way, protect yourself the way indifferent from what was said, then you know you have to put upon display and hold up, wait, it's here, okay, I'm finna roll up, hold up, you ain't even know what you were supposed to know. I'm interested in the excitement of the entertainment, and that becomes epic of the flow. Therefore, you can channel or hold up, wait, Chanel was a girl I remember. Legendary thought, did this the time? Hold up, wait, do you remember? I'm in this state of rhyme. September was last month, was that November? We in December, keep this shit going forever. I can't testify to do what was transmitted by other men. Got it over the mic, so melodic. Hold up, wait, you took your aim and you shot it. Was that the target bullseye? Or did you miss it? She came in with a caramel frappe. That's terrific. Plus a kissing. Punch for the captain. Serially, I'm snapping. Could have became a killer if it wasn't for her. Light up the floor tiles like a thriller, huh? What you saying? I'm always displaying, putting this in my way in like one of the Wayans. That was a joke, but serious for the folk. You try to antagonize me and become an antagonist, and who you gonna provoke? Who'd you poke? And C-74 try to catch me at the port for the door for sure. They didn't know. Back to the situation though. Oh. I got love for this hip hop, and when my heart stopped, y'all could talk all y'all shit on the chart, or who's been on the top and who was not mentioned. Underground, motherfucker, it's the session. Respect the sessions. Cipher of the blessings with gems in. Encrusted thought of knowledge that you thought. Or better yet, hold on, wait, no preventing. You got it, therefore you got help. Brought to the brink, taught that it's melodic when you move with the rhythms. Go ahead and give off what you think. Clink, that was a toast for the moment, might I meant to mention. An artist is right there. It's not as hard as it become right from the moment of ascension. They still studying little kids. 10 years from now, 3 times of what that is. Grandma said we still children of God, so I guess we still righteous kids.
Tea sensitivity is so common. It immediately feels like somebody's poking directly on their nerve. I recommend Sensodyne.
I recommend to keep sense in your mind. If they poking on your nerves, forget the time. Remember the design. Hold up, wait, you ain't found the route for escape. That was a group from back in the day. Please don't take time to hate. Pleasing my mind with the style of shit that I talk and create on the moment. Let me put the last blunt that I was burning right there up front. Sit. If something proper, reach for some green. See, the actions and the moves is all kind of high for with this hat, it seems. You would expect some pimpy talk. So keeping your expectations where they should be, of course I've brought this style. I ain't want what was in that one, I'm looking in this one now. Next aisle, shopping for food for thought, gems would drop. Crystal, that's shining, hold up, wait, yeah. They switched the beat, I'm still on the plot. You wasn't expecting that, huh? Were you there with the right index when the right index finger was raised and I made a lot? I think not, I know a lot. Still impressing like the posse on Broadway, so mix a lot. Back to the spot, you ain't actually did what we did, huh? A hot one, hot two. And who is the we and who is the you? It's just speaking of that, a humane, then you know it's easy to maintain, continue to move that. Hold up, wait, now give me room, move back. Where the truth at? Where's the lie hiding? Intuition between the silver lining got me reminding myself that I am him on the trophy like the Hansman. Monumental in my position, I win. What you telling me? I spin for a different perception. Like a DJ with a record, we using it as a weapon towards the crowd. MCs, like emptying clips at anyone out there now. Damn. And what you was looking for, you probably have found it, didn't know it. Man. This here be some, easy with the movement. Right there in the moment. And still ain't even show shit. Except that I'm a shogun. I could pick it up off the floor, took a picture with it already for sure. You don't want problems with no one. That's crazy. At times I was engaged, and times I was encouraged by the idea of World War III. That be the positivity of the reality of me and what we living in a simulation of what? So one day I'll become a billion. Say one day I'll become a billionaire and then get stuck with all these financial problems. A bill here, a bill there until we're in there. He said a bill here and a bill there until the nair's up on. He said a bill here and a bill there until the niggas up on the nair and who let them in here. Is that a nigga up on that nair? You don't know nair nigga like this here. The right type of providing the right type of lyrical assist for your ear. Hey Google, play dope hip hop instrumental beats.
Alright, here's a YouTube music playlist called Rap Instrumentals 2023 New Hip Hop Instrumentals 2023 Rap Playlist.
So I can continue my Wednesday WileOut.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you get paid and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
It seemed like before my beginning, nobody want me winning. But still through the canals of life and the sewers of truth, I continue to descend. Or was that a rabbit hole, or was that more proof that the end might just be the beginning? And for you motherfuckers lying, demons trying to see sinning, winning. By the synonym said for the sentence, it was set up for him to speed ahead and read to the others, or read for while you see, you put the word together in a simile. For the brothers of the chain, they ain't even understand the sisters within the frame. It's all on the family game. If you ain't get the picture for that, it was closer for the root of evil. They followed that down to the root too. That's why you either strong or feeble, and you get this port for the dimension if you ready to jump. Said slide, reverse, and take. Slide and reverse to obtain and entertain everyone up front. That was a crowd show performance. Crazy. Articulation is not what you were used to, so I suggest more conformant. And hold on, wait, he was an informant. Told on by more that was dormant. They ain't even know it, so now they woke. Information is no different than a gun or a knife. You can get yourself shot or poked. Give a fuck about the situation for not understanding. If it wasn't for this, then there was a class and it was meant to be. He told the teacher how to wait. That was an affirmation. I meant it. Back to the shit that we absolutely got demented over. They took that, made money for interest on the soldier. And now somebody's the major. militant, and it's never over. So hold on, wait, did they get him on a proper communication or just hit him at the hip by the pager? That was a 45 that he raised on the arm with an extender on it to become the savior. For violence, in fact, if I woke up and chose that, then you'd be on some other type hold up, yeah. Things still intact, you ain't even know it was dissected. I just, therefore, see, that's the aftermath after the weapons passed. Spoke on the sport, left the mind cut with the words off the cord. You didn't know this for sure. Now let's just go with the shot. If it's a trigger moment, what I say got triggered right on the spot. Where was the chamber aimed at that? Who was at the end of that? A knot swelled after the exit wound was made. Hemorrhage from the blood that spattered on the side of the wall. They didn't
For
know
2
he
times
was out
stronger
to be
defense
paid.
against erosion and effective cavity protection. New Pronamel Active Shield.
If you
Robbery
do the
with a
work
grenade.
consistently, if you invest in yourself consistently, 10 years of motherfucking work when everybody else is partying, making excuses, doing the cool thing on the weekend is going to pay off. You can do this.
Stay consistent. Focus on your movements. Reinforce the resistance. Move away for those that don't mean you improvement. On. You got a job to get done. Make sure you got the belt and the proper toolkit. To put a foot in the ring, I advise don't take shots to the face, become elusive. Deliver combinations like you finna get what's inside, because that is the clue fit. The click where it should be. Breaking the safe, it's no longer safe. Put that away around me. Yeah, I know they hate you, but I'm still here for the appraisal. My conscience talk to my guardians, like the Navy do. Talk to the Air Force. If it's mind, body, and soul, then it's money, life, and a crew. Don't forget that. Don't forget that, money. My life ain't through. Get yourself in a situation, cornered, somebody got the idea that they're gonna start knifing you. That's a bad situation. How you get yourself there? Yeah. OG didn't give him the straight face and the straight situation, then why let him, or why even care? The package wasn't delivered properly. Shit arrived sloppily. On top of heat, you should have a scope. Crosshairs and fires and something that'll point you directly. Oh, that's a laser. What color that do? 5 years from now, 100 still 100. What color? No, 100 will still be 100, but how they color to know? I'll be on my, always different, so I'll be cutting the floor.
Ghirardelli caramel squares makes life a bite
Become the
better.
flow.
Sonic on the track.
I'm gonna tell you a story. It's a story I thought I knew.
Oh, what you?
It's a beautiful day. Gonna take you for sunshine, take you for rain, take you for joy, take you for pain. It's a beautiful day. Gonna take you for sunshine, take you for rain, take you for joy, take you for pain. It's a beautiful day. Classy.
Somebody else quit it again. Yeah, I'm getting highly upset, man. People quitting their shit.
Classy.
Man, it's some BS, man. I'm good. Shit take forever to download. People making me lose all my shit. And it's doing this shit while I'm streaming. Oh man, straight bullshit. It's about fucking time. What's the word with you, bro? Yeah, say I got 28 people viewing me. Somebody botting the hell out of me. I know 28 people viewing me. You the only one just sent a chat. You know, I don't play Star Wars. Man, they fucking my game up, man. Like motherfuckers is quitting and then this shit take forever to load, man. I'm about to quit this shit. Hell yeah, man. They done fucked me up again, bro. And all my perks that went up been lost. Yeah, that ain't me. Shit, you the only one that said something in the comment. Yeah, I've been playing this game the whole time you was live. Shit take forever to load.
racist, verbal, and physical attacks at Marysville Middle School. The past month alone, the urgency has heightened after one student not only threatened to kill all of the black students, but listed them by name. More from Atlanta Black Star. On Friday, November 10th, according to the parents and students, one student elevated his use of racial slurs and said he was going to have his KKK family members hang and kill all of the black students at Marysville Middle School before listing by name those he planned to target. One mother whose child was targeted by the bigoted schoolyard bully revealed that the parent of the student making the threats allegedly arrived at the school armed with a gun. While the incident was alarming in a school district where only 2.7% of the population is black, it sadly wasn't surprising to the woman. According to her, children of color, including her own, have been grappling with such challenges for years. Picture of this parent, Holly Seismansky, who is white with a biracial child, told ABC 7 Action News, quote, "It was very scary. I was in tears.
Ghirardelli chocolate chips makes baking a bite better.
Dame la ciencia.
A soldier.
I send him to school, talk about pulling him out.
When you're looking like a snack, and now you're hungry for one.
The track, boy. Makarov. He told me the power of a strong idea. All it needs is a spark. And if it catches, it can be explosive. Bastards thought they could contain me, humiliate me, stab me out. No. See, I earned my commandeer's trust because I don't go out like that. I don't bend, I don't break, I just keep burning. His mission is my mission. His cause is my cause. He wants to see the world aflame. Good. It deserves it. Hand me the match. Strong ideas need strong people to carry them out. So let's go. Time for us to burn it all down. Let's start some fires.
Turn up time. Watch out. You didn't even get a minute to enjoy the map. Jesus. Securing something. Oh, it's starting to get the fuck out. Just don't load on blasphemy. Look at these bitch-made motherfuckers. Out of here, you vermin. Scourge. Oh my God. There's death. There's two. I just want death from you. Explosive. Action move down this way. Same site. Let's see where it is. Fucking bullets for you, bruv. Offerings. Hey. This fucking douchebag. Keeping corners and shit. Jesus, can we get 100 points? Mystery of the Get the fuck out of here, bro. You are so not invited around these parts. point blank. Bullets all in his face. He lives to talk about it. Sitting at the end of the hallway. Jesus, Janine. Still haven't got on. First time. Under constant bombardment. I just want to live, you know.